We go back in time one day in session to when Isandros led you out the arena's underbelly. Janster feels his chest tighten and his vision changes. A blink would have missed it. A seamless change in perspective as if nothing had happened. He finds himself looming over a city in ruin. The great surrounding seas are no longer there. There's nothing but a barren wasteland, blanketed by overcast skies. The city stands desolate and quiet beneath him as he stands on the hilltop he was just on a moment before.
Oh boy, I'm home. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Behind him, as he turns to take in the view, the arena, which stood so valiantly, has all but sunken into the hill. What do you do?
I guess I'll go back into the arena then.
Alright.
See if anything has changed. I mean, I know it's changed, but what do I see?
Looking around this arena, this desolate arena, you see the opposite side where the other elevator was before.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite side of that wall has actually been busted through. It's breached, and it goes all the way through the stands. You actually see a large siege engine shot.
Oh, fuck, okay.
A large siege engine shot split through the arena and landed into the arena itself. And it is propped up where you can see it's partly up into the stands itself.
Mm-hmm.
Up on top of that, in the arena itself with the sand, you see four-legged creatures biting at and pulling at something in the sand.
Jesus Christ.
They turn to look at you and they start to growl.
Oh, you're definitely playing something.
Some of them are laughing.
I'm just gonna fucking run. I'm just going to book it as fast as
When they turn, you see what they were pulling out. It was an arm sticking out of the sand.
Of course it is. Yeah, I'm running. That's an 8.
That's neat.
Damn.
You take a leap over some of the larger rubble that's along the wall, and you catch your foot and fall down into the sand.
Oh, no.
You are now prone, and the beasts start to step towards you, growling.
I'm gonna get up. I'm just gonna stand there and regret everything I've done in my life.
So we have four-legged beasts that know that you're there.
Oh.
One's moving first, and it's the one in the far back. He's going to move up back to essentially where you pushed him from. 2 spaces, and then you see as he moves to that second spot, like he just moved it now, the arm that's sticking out of the ground grabs him.
What? Oh!
It grabs him and it pulls him halfway into the dirt, the sand.
Oh man!
You're in the twilight.
The beast kicks around in the sand, shooting it everywhere, trying to get loose, and then it stops moving.
Like, dead stops moving, or
It stops moving. It falls limp.
those may not be the worst thing I have to worry about the most. Okay.
After it gets half submerged into the sand, the arm pulls itself out of the ground. And another one comes out with a sword in its hand. And you see it's an undead soldier.
Oh no. Oh. And I don't have any of my undead fighting gear. Fuck.
Okay.
I don't have any bonus action spells, so
Do you have any abilities that are bonus action?
I'm gonna bonus action cry. Let me see. Let me.
That's a pretty good bonus action. Yeah, that's...
That is my turn. I set 2 cards face down and then my turn.
All this aside, it is one of the other beasts' turn. They're gonna... One got killed. The little one is the first one up. He's gonna try to take another bite. See what he can do. And that is a miss. So he misses. The next one, which is the last one behind him, tries to take a bite. And of course I forgot they have advantage on that. That one does not hit either. They are starting to whimper because they're not fully into this fight. The undead had turned his head to Janster.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to start to walk away from the beasts.
Doesn't that give them attack of opportunity?
Yes.
So, go ahead and do your...
That one hits, so he does... he does a full damage array for that.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. The other one...
That's a lot of damage.
does not hit. So one of them gets a bite in while the undead starts to trot slowly towards Janster's position, which should be on this side, technically. So have him going 20 feet out from where he was this way. So diagonally this way.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, so he trots up
and then he
that
trips.
far. And then he ends his turn, and it's Janster's turn again. Which, again, perspective-wise, he is closer to Janster now.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot at him with my longbow.
All right.
I have 20 arrows, and I'm going to use every fucking one of them if I have to. Ooh, that's a good one. That'll be a unnatural 20.
Okay, all in all 20.
I assume that hits.
Yes.
1d8 plus 2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
10 damage.
Wow.
Nice. 10 damage to him.
Get away, you son of a bitch. Stay dead.
All right. So you do 10 damage to him. It plinks into his armor on his left side, and his left arm falls off. He still has his sword. He still has his sword in his right hand.
Fuck.
And are you gonna do anything else?
Nah. I'm going to, like I said, I have 20 arrows. I plan on using all of them if I have to.
All right. The two animals are going to slowly try to encircle him, but they're not going to attack because they're unsure.
Yeah, that's right. Like that.
Yep, and they'll end their turns after moving around. And the undead is going to attempt to continue moving up to you along the wall. You can put it on this side now. Up to 20 feet. So that would have been...
Right here.
It should have been like up along the wall that you're at.
Yeah. So like...
That's the middle of the table where you're standing is what I'm saying. So he moves up, almost up to the wall.
Oh. So about...
Yeah, where you're at. He's trying to get to. Go ahead and pull the animals over.
Did they get another attack of opportunity since he's...
No, they
That ain't close enough.
oh, you had him.
But
Yeah,
I didn't know how you wanted them.
That's fine. One of them will get an attack of opportunity because the other one was not up to him. They do not get it.
So it's my turn now.
Yeah. So you've got a zombie undead warrior walking up with one arm and a sword and a couple beast still trying to tail him.
Alright, I'm going to pour some water in my hand and cast Ice Knife at this guy right here.
And one of the beasts?
Yeah. It's a ranged spell attack, so on a hit it takes 1d10 piercing damage. Hit or miss, the shard then explodes. Each creature within 5 feet. To succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
So a dex save?
Yeah, so I'm basically aiming for all 3 of them. So, but I'm throwing at the
So it's an area of effect after a hit?
Yeah, it basically explodes.
Okay. So let me know when I need to make a save.
Yeah. 15 against his AC.
Against the beast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That hits?
Yeah.
Fucking A. It's a D10 worth of damage.
Nice.
So, do I add anything to it?
It should say if you do.
It doesn't say. It just says 1d10
You
piercing
should add
damage.
your spell attack bonus.
Thank you.
Spell attack bonus, so that would be
That's the yee.
What's your modifier on your...
plus 5.
The one that
5.
you got. You nailed one of them.
Yeah, man.
Is that what it says? Spell
Yeah.
attack? You,
So 10 damage. And then the shard explodes. Now everybody in that area make a dexterity.
the shard explodes.
And everybody has to roll below us. Well, my DC is 13.
What's the modifier dex?
Dex, yeah.
That's a botch
For who?
for the first animal.
Nice.
The undead saves.
Okay, what about the other one? Because they all still have...
You killed the dude you hit.
Oh, okay.
He shattered
Since
into...
he botched, does that do double damage? So instead of 2d6, it's 4d6?
He gets hit by shrapnel of his friend and ice. And then he explodes.
Oh, I got my.
Well, I gotta roll my damage anyway, so... So, it'll be 7, and if you succeed, you take half. For the one that succeeded.
How much? 7 in all?
Yeah, for the one that succeeded.
So that'll be 3.
Yeah, and then... I guess... Do you want me to roll again for the botch or no?
No.
Okay.
So what?
So it'll be 7 damage to him, since he didn't succeed.
The undead succeeded.
Yeah. But the other one didn't, so he takes full damage. The other one takes half.
Yeah, those 2 are dead. The 2 beasts are dead. The undead takes half damage, so that's 3 ice.
Yep.
3 ice damage.
Well, 3 piercing.
3 piercing.
Yeah. Oh no, it's ice damage. Never mind.
3 ice.
Yeah.
So this ice dagger gets shot into one animal. The animal gets like shrapneled into the next animal. Though that animal just pretty much explodes from that. And then that effect hits the undead, it hits him in the back, and he takes ice damage, shrapnel, and other pieces of animal hitting him. He's still standing somehow. And you see chunks of like shard ice sticking into him.
Come on, come at me, bitch!
Man, these halflings just have mouths.
Boy, I tell you, he was praying that they wouldn't see him earlier. And then now he's out here, come at me! Then they grew wings that come after him.
The only one left is the undead, and he moves up to the wall, and he starts to try to reach up the wall with his one arm and sword, and try to pull himself up it. And he's gonna try an athletics
Can I do
with
an opposed,
disadvantage.
Can I do an opposed athletics to try to kick him back down?
You're not up along the wall.
Oh, okay.
You're up into the stands.
That's fair.
So he gets a disadvantage on that.
No.
He does not make it. So he's unable to make it up the wall.
I'm going to step up to the wall.
Hmm.
And
He's got
Is there enough-
He got his arm with his sword, so he's like moving it around, trying to pull.
is there
himself
enough
up.
distance vertically to where I can still shoot at him without taking any penalties?
You are up against him technically, so you will get disadvantage. Unless you like try to get right in his face, he'll be able to slash you if you do that.
What if I move to another corner, like shooting at him from like here?
Yeah, you could try that as long as you're not directly adjacent to him. I think
Yeah.
you still get. I think you technically get a disadvantage from being within that amount of feet.
I can go up to my feet if I need to. So I was here. So
Remember, you're up in the stands, so you'd have to get along the stands,
Yeah.
which are split. You're on one side.
Yeah,
So you'll have to do like an athletics to cross over to one side.
but this side.
This side, which side did you want to cross onto? Because again, it's split stands. There's a right side and there's a left side. Which
Yeah.
side did you go to?
I guess it'd be my left, his right.
So if you're looking at it from the arena, it'd be on the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you can go up along the railing. I guess you'd call it the wall.
Okay.
You're following the line there.
5, 10, 15, 20,
Back.
25. So about right here.
We got the idea, but it's you're not following the line where it was curving.
Oh yeah.
But
And I'm going to take a shot at him.
okay.
Ooh, hell yeah. It'll be a 22 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And that is 7 damage.
All right.
So I've used 2 arrows so far.
Ooh, 18, huh?
All right. You successfully drop this guy,
Fuck yeah.
and the combat is over. You are up in the stands of this arena that is currently littered in animal parts and undead parts now. And as you sit back, as you just did, into one of the seats you were standing in front of and gather your surroundings, you see a figure in the box stand where the sulfates were.
No.
The figure moves not past the covering, but just to the rim of the cover, so he's still under cover.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Do I recognize this figure?
Give me a perception.
You want to use mine? Each one?
This is important to me, so. Nat fucking 20.
What a rig.
Not only does he know, he knows his sister, his mother.
Last time somebody looked at the box stand was a natural 20.
Yes.
The second time is a natural 20. I'm beginning to think.
Right, guys.
I didn't
Alright.
bake him at all.
Someone's baking.
I didn't bake him at all.
Someone's baking dice in here.
One moment, and I'll.
That is pretty wild, though.
I'm over here like this. Like,
You see this guy.
Oh, shoot.
Like a rat.
You see this guy.
He's so handsome.
like I said, do I
Do you recognize him?
Do I recognize him?
Yeah.
You definitely see him.
Yes, I see him.
You recognize him as one scary motherfucker.
You don't seem to remember him in any of your previous exploits.
Oh, that sucks.
You definitely see him in detail. You see his eyes,
So
his
I'm
cold expression, and he's looking at you.
I'm just gonna yell across. So, did he send you to collect me?
He raises his hand out to you. And he says, Janster. Roll me a wisdom save.
Whoa.
Oh no!
You want to use Killjoy's dice again?
No,
Bad one.
6.
As he says this, the grounds around the arena start to rip open with other undeads.
Get me
They
the fuck out of here.
Start to number in the tens. There are lots of bodies rising from the sands. Some of them start to come up in the actual the seating underneath rubble and whatnot along the rim.
Okay.
And as this happens, you see them coming up out of the ground. He continues to say, "Run."
Yeah, I fucking run.
And you are compelled to leave the arena.
Oh, I was going to anyway. You didn't need to compel me.
Run.
Another comes up behind him, and he fades into a mist and reappears behind it and cuts it down. And that is the last thing you see as you are compelled to flee the arena. You leap off the side of the stands.
Oh, I wasn't compelled to. I was going to anyway. Do I hear like bomb sirens as I'm running? Oh.
You land with a thud in some of that brush line.
Fuck on. Ah, fuck on. Reminds me of that scene in fucking Hot Rod where he's tumbling down the mountain.
You take 6 piercing damage.
Wow, I'm not even out of my temporary hit points.
You take 6 piercing damage from the brambles and thorns and whatnot. And you have the ruinous city ahead of you.
I'm just going to run as fast as I fucking can to the city. Just full force.
That is how you spend the rest of your night, is running.
Boy, you're tired.
You find eventually a closed off building and lock yourself up in it.
I think he's sitting there, his mind is racing, he's panting really fucking hard, and it's just thinking, God, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here, I can't be here anymore. I can't. Please, anyone get me out of here.
Your heart starts to beat at the furious pace that it is, and you feel that tightening again. And then you find yourself back in the city beforehand.
Oh, I thought you were about to have a heart attack.
I'm not done yet.
You find yourself in someone's home, and they're looking right at you with fear.
I run straight for the fucking door and just start running through the streets, just to the point where I literally pass out.
And that is where we leave Janster.
Hi. Hey, man.
We resume.
Wait, he's back. So who did he?
Janster is back in the city.
I don't know where I'm at.
Oh.
I don't know where you guys are. I'm just running until I can't.
Similar circumstances. Shamash finds himself in a familiar place. He is in a cramped room, sitting along the back wall.
Please tell me I'm down. Please tell me.
You are not bound.
Oh.
But you
A remake.
you are not bound. But you find yourself in a similar room that you were before, with holes that reach from one end of the wall to another wall. You have one door in front of you, and it has a lit torch to the left of it.
Is the room generally dark? Like even with the torches?
The torch gives off enough light that you can see that it's an empty room all but yourself. You still have your kit on you. You are not bound. I can say again, you are hunched up against the wall, the back wall.
Wow, they didn't even put me on a stretcher or nothing.
No, you got carried by an unseen servant.
Can I go through the door? Is it locked or unlocked?
It does not appear to have a lock mechanism. It seems like the one before, where it's a lifting door.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and try and exit the room.
All right, give me a strength check.
Okay. 17. Well, plus whatever.
That definitely gets it. It has some resistance to your pull because you've worked the door before. You were the one that opened the door last time. You lift the door up into the receiving ceiling, and you see a bare-chested, bare-backed man. His back is
Oh my!
His back is to you immediately, and you see past him. He seems to be a human of tan skin. He seems to be human. You see past him rows and rows and rows of people sitting down and facing towards your direction. And past that, you have a staircase, one single staircase that would fit maybe one person, going upwards. And you see them holding poles. And you see water shooting into the sides of openings that these poles are going out to. The man is barking at the people seated, and it seems they're rowing. He does not see you, and the others do not seem to see you either because they're in the motions.
What kind of ship am I on? Am I just on a little boat?
You appear to be on a galley ship of some sort. Not large, but large enough to have a contingent of rowers.
Okay, well, if I don't like these people, I'm jumping off.
You're currently in a doorway, and again, you have a guy bare-shirted, or
The hell?
bare-chested, bare-torsoed, facing away from you, right in front of you at the edge of the door. He did not notice you, and you can tell it's quite loud with the splashing. It's quite sounding.
I'd like to talk to him, I guess. I want to tap him on the shoulder. I'm gonna tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, what's going on here?"
You tap him. You tap him on the shoulder. Which shoulder are you tapping him on?
On his right.
On his right.
Yeah.
You tap him on his shoulder, and he spins around. He spins around wide-eyed, and clearly is surprised that you're standing in front of him. Responding to you, he kind of just mutters something in a language you don't know.
Can I do a history check and try and figure out like where the origin of this language might come from?
Yeah.
Okay. 6 or 9.
It's a 9.
Alright, so I got a 12
Well,
on that.
you seem to think that this might be one of the islanders off the coast of the continent, possibly. You're just not sure because you've not visited them yourself.
So I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's that it's the mercenaries. Likely. Just a wild guess.
Okay. What do you want to do now?
Is that all he says to me? Is just something I don't understand?
You don't understand. He starts to go like gesture and he's still speaking this language you don't understand. And he points into the room.
I guess I want to ask him if he can speak common tongues so I can understand him.
Give me a persuasion.
Ooh, 19.
Plus 3.
Plus 3, 22.
22. With your persuasion check, he gives you a quizzical look, not as surprised as before, not as like seems to be commanding, and he pushes you back into the room, and then he tries to pull the door back down.
Oh, hell no.
I want to kick him in the nuts. I'm going to show him what my name is Smash means.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Very noble of a paladin warrior.
Give me-
Pushing me.
Roll a d4.
Can you imagine like a dragon kicking you in the nuts? Like,
Yeah, it
that's
probably
gotta be-
has talons, so he goes straight up into
Oh,
his tank.
that's gonna be piercing.
Stiff-footed?
3.
What's your strength modifier?
Plus 4.
Oh my god.
Please don't ever
7 damage to his nuts.
Good things are gone. Scrambled
Call
eggs
me
now.
Smash.
He falls over. He falls over. He's just like,
Kind of like what happens in.
and he's on his knees on the ground. He's just got like a skirt on and some sandals. He has a sword at his hip, and he's just like, oh, and he goes to pull for his sword. It's a short sword, and he's like, he pulls for his short sword.
I want to kick him in that arm.
Okay.
So while he's dropped down on his knees trying to pull it out, I want to kick his arm and sheath it back in.
All right. Give me another d4.
So violent.
He's pushing me. Yes.
He pushed me, so I
I
destroyed
have
his balls.
a newly conscious
and it broke his
Smash
arm.
who hasn't shown his true. Calm down in a slow 6.
That's 6 extra damage this guy takes as you kick him in the arm to stop him from drawing his blade. He gets knocked over, and he starts barking at you in his tongue that you don't know. And he's holding his arm and he's holding his nuts.
Wait, with the same arm he's holding his nuts?
Oh my
No,
god!
it's a different arms.
So how's he doing this then? How's he holding his
Oh, he's probably doing this.
He leans back.
like this, right?
He leans back, and he starts to like get close to one of the rowers as he's like writhing in pain, and one of the rowers kicks him in the face, and he's knocked unconscious.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I started a riot. That's all it was.
The rowers, some of them are fearful.
We got a boat then.
Yeah.
Some of the rowers.
Well, nonchalantly.
Some of the rowers are fearful at you because
You're
you're a dragonborn. They're fearful and not sure what this means. And the one that kicked the guy unconscious, he gestures to you. He holds up his arm on the oar as they're going, and he shows that there's chains along their wrists, and he has chains along his ankles as well, as do everyone else in this row line.
I want to search the bareback guy for a set of keys.
All right, give me an investigation check.
This is taking a weird turn that I didn't expect.
Why you always?
It's not as weird as yours.
Here, I'll
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that.
What
When I
did
fell, his head fell on the ground.
What did it get that time?
10 plus your.
Plus 3, 13.
So 13 in all.
Oh, but he had next when they fell on the ground.
You start digging at like his belt that he has around his skirt,
Make sure I'm faced a certain way so I don't have to look up this little skirt thing.
Well, you gotta look at your trophy.
I don't want to see what I smashed.
Yeah.
I don't want to see what got smashed.
Okay.
The family jewels.
Is there any blood there?
We never covered this. Is your family jewels actually jewels?
I caught bulls.
My God.
He's got
The
a sack
questions-
of diamonds he carries everywhere he goes.
The questions that the audience
The
wants
jewel
to know.
question.
We need more details about this.
Jewel
You-
crest.
You
They're
wrestle
extra
out from
crusty.
underneath his sword sheath, a set of keys, and they're like a ring, a key ring, and it has like three keys hanging off of it.
Okay. The second thing I'd like to do is to take his sword and then with my claw, I want to scratch Paros into the blade, and I'm gonna keep that one.
Oh, all
This
right,
dude don't need it no more. He tried to pull it on me.
all right. This sword has a kind of a slight curve to it, but it's still a short sword.
That'll work.
It's got a little hook at the end of it.
Ooh,
Nice.
Ooh, it's one of those.
fishmonger.
Okay, so you scratch Aros into the blade itself.
Yeah.
Or, okay, into the blade itself, and you have that in your inventory now. You also have the keys. Again, there's 3 of them on a ring.
I would like to make a perception check around me to see if I see anybody that I know, anybody I was with before I woke up.
All right. There are several people in this room. They all mostly look human to you. If you want to look through the faces, just give me an investigation check.
That's a low number.
Yeah, 4. It's a 7.
7.
Yeah, 7 in all. You don't make out anyone that you've seen. They're mostly human. Maybe an elf here or there that you can tell. A lot of them are overgrown beard, very scraggly. Some of them are really lean.
You need to get that mayonnaise.
Once you cast detect.
I already know they all have scurvy. First, they're gonna get their chains off. They're not gonna infect me.
Scurvy vampires? Scurvy vampirism? That'll be a thing.
Suck the fat off of you.
Damn it! The last guy I bit, I left my fangs down.
I'm gonna need that.
Get that.
You don't recognize anyone that you know in this crowd of people. There are several rows worth of these people. You could try again if you want to continue to look through them, but they mainly look human.
Is there a way where I can find out if any of them or if all of them speak either common or? I'm guessing most of them.
Just announce.
Do you want to talk to them?
Yeah.
Just say what you want to say, and I'll tell you what you got to do.
Well, I'd really like to know, like, where we are, what's going on, how in the world did I get here?
Just what do you want to say? Just role play it if you want.
Okay. Where exactly are we?
Give me a persuasion.
Are they still rolling? Or do they stop?
Some of them have stopped. Some have continued to go, so it might screw up where the ship's going.
Yeah, so they're just going around in circles and then the captain's going, what the hell?
Not 20 plus 3.
Nat 20?
Plus 3.
Well, Nat 20 basically gets
Yeah.
it. One of them shouts out, "We're on a ship of slavers!" And the other ones, they don't really say anything, but just kind of like chitter and like they're I don't know, they're broken. One guy that did answer you does say, "We're on a ship of slavers." He continues on, "Get us out of here. We can probably make it to the shoreline." And They saw that you pulled the keys off the one guy.
Oh, I didn't know that you got the keys yet.
Alright.
He pulled the keys off the guy.
Cool.
Yeah, there's 3 keys on.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not gonna start killing people and row myself to shore.
It'd be physically impossible, probably.
He's very strong. He's a Dragon Ball.
Alright, I'm gonna start unlocking all of your chains, but we need to book it as fast as we can to the shoreline, and we'll get things settled from there.
You're bothered to sit right now. So
There's gonna be a lot of people up there.
Okay. Who are you going to start with? Are you going to start with the end? Where are you going to go?
Just the person closest to me. And
Okay.
actually,
It's probably the guy that kicked the one dude in the
I'm
face.
just gonna hand him the keys, and I'm gonna let them unlock themselves and keep
Okay.
passing the keys to the next person.
So he fumbles for it after he showed you. He fumbles for it and he tries one key, it doesn't work. He tries another key, that gets his wrists open, and then he reaches down for his feet. That key doesn't work on his feet. And he tries the last key, it works on it. And then he jumps up after freeing himself, and he's like, "Yeah!" And everyone starts cheering, or whatever. And he passes the keys to the next guy. And they continue along this. All right. Do you want to watch them do this, or do you want to do something else? Because again, you saw there are the two sides of the rowers. You saw a set of stairs that could fit maybe one person going up at a time.
Right.
At the back.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for them to all get their locks and shackles off, and then I'm gonna want to take the keys, and I'm gonna tell them just continue what you're doing, act like everything's normal, and I'm gonna go up the stairs by myself.
They don't listen to you. They start booking it for the stairs.
Well, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna look around for a nice pint.
A pint?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna sit down and figure out what they're gonna do and let it unfold.
You're in the slave quarters. There's not going to be a.
You're in
Hey,
a.
you never know, that dude could have had a pint somewhere hidden away. That's for him.
What makes
You
it
probably
really
smashed
cool?
it with that kick of yours.
Well, I sure hope that's not where he was hiding it.
You having received the keys from the last guy because you were making sure they're all getting undone. Again, they don't listen to you. Some of them don't seem like they understand what's going on other than freedom. They start to book it up the stairs, which the ceiling isn't that high. It's maybe about as high as this. And they go up the stairs and they push open this doors, and you hear people yelling and cheering and whatever, and they start trying to push each other to get out. And then you say you take a seat and kind of chill out.
Yeah.
So these guys are running and disappearing off, and the last guy slips down the stairs, and then he's just like, oh, and then he goes back up the stairs.
Well, I'm gonna wait until they're all already up there, and then I'm gonna go up there after them and see what's going on.
He's basically sending the meat shields out.
All right.
Basically, a lot.
So you're going as the very last man?
Yes.
All right. You go up the stairs and you see through the staircase, there's actually a back doorway past the staircase that you have behind it. It's just kind of tucked away, like you got to pull up the stairs to get to it.
I'm gonna go ahead and try that. I'm gonna pull up the stairs.
All right. Give me a strength check.
I got a 7.
7.
Plus whatever your strength is.
That was I got 3.
Oh.
Plus 4.
All right. You more or less make it. These stairs have chains. Have chains that go along each end of the corners, and it seems like it's a lot easier than the door before because the door is more sturdy and probably to lock away. This is more like get it out of my way quick because I need to go over here. Right. So it gets risen up into locking position of the platform above, and you have access to a small corridor that has a doorway at the end.
Smash got a boat.
But how are we gonna get the shore with nobody to row it?
Yeah, no. didn't know.
The
You'd
doorway.
Be surprised at what I can accomplish. It's not
The
like
door-
they can get off the boat either.
The door at the end is closed.
Yeah.
Close.
Kick the door in
Yes.
the balls.
Can I charge down the hallway at full speed and ram through this door? Or does it appear to be locked? That's the first question I'm going to ask.
It appears to. It's not like the other door. It has a. It actually has a kind of a ring handle where it looks like you gotta turn it.
Okay.
So it would kind of have like a latch going on there.
Is it locked?
Well then, I'm going to walk up to it and try and open it up.
All right. You go up and pretty easily turn the latch of this ring handle, and then you slide it a bit, and you open it up towards you. And it is dark inside.
I kind of imagine like the velociraptors trying to open up the doors. They would.
The
Does-
last world.
Just to
It's a
reconfirm,
Yes.
just to reconfirm, does Shamash have dark vision?
No, I was about to say I'm probably about to step back and use a torch.
You had a lit torch in the room you started in.
Okay.
You could grab if you needed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and grab that torch.
Okay.
I
You-
don't think anybody's gonna need that dark.
There's
torch.
no one in your path. There's no one in the way. The
There's a body
staircase.
on the ground.
The staircase is still up. You go to the door that's open, and you still have the torch on your right now.
Okay.
You grab that out of the thing, and you can head back.
Yep. All right.
So you go back to the door that you just opened, and you wave your torch into the door frame, and you see the rest of your party in that room. They are bound.
Us?
Yes.
Nani?
Wait, that's not where we. Okay.
Don't worry about it. This could be sometime in the future or the past, or completely a vision
I
entirely.
just have a fever dream.
I was about to say I used
You
to silent
see-
charge. This could have just messed me up.
You see a chameleon folk, a kenku, a halfling, a mouse folk,
That's me.
and 2 humans bound to 2 poles.
Man, both
Along
of
the
them seem
walls.
very much
Might wanna-
alive.
Might want to go ahead and eliminate one just to be sure. Just to keep
Oh,
coming.
this hurts my brain. I don't even know if I should walk into the room without like breaking some kind of black.
You don't see a dragonborn.
Sure he does if he looks down.
Yeah, look at my own hand.
You have dragonborn hands, yes.
Naughty.
What do you wish to do?
I was diamond the whole time.
Honestly, I think my best judgment would be to close the door because these are not really my party members.
Okay.
And this is some kind of lucid dream and I need to get out of here. Or I just
All
need
right.
to lock myself back in that room.
The only exit that you know of so far is the staircase that you raised back into the ceiling.
Well, I'm gonna go in to the room actually with what appears to be my party, and I'm going to walk up to them individually with the torch and see if any of them are conscious or anything like that.
Or even have a
Okay.
face.
Give me a perception, and we'll use that as a like a kind of a, well, I guess it'd be like medicine. Medicine, is that a skill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know who he is.
Yeah, does he know who we are?
We'll
Yeah.
see.
No, I mean based on like. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything that happened with time and.
We don't know.
That's what we're about to
Okay.
find out.
That's like a weird episode of Twin
Then
Peaks.
why would?
I got a 7.
They appear to be unconscious, bound to these poles.
Can I do a perception and see if I recognize them?
All right. Well, I guess it'd be an investigation because they're not up and active. So we'll use investigation for you to like raise their head or something of that sort.
So 16 plus whatever.
Alright, so that's a 19. Yeah, 19.
19. Who are you going to start with?
Whoever's to my left. Like the closest to the left. I always do left to right.
Enter the doorway.
I think on the left, It would be Glenn.
Okay.
Glenn the chameleon folk.
Okay.
He should be the first on the left side. So you pull back his hood that he's got over the back of his head, and you can see clearly he's a lizard folk chameleon. He has his kind of a flare. His eyes definitely appear to be the same eyes that he had. As you kind of poke his eyes open, you look at his face that you've seen. This appears to be the same chameleon folk that you were partied with.
When you say you open up his eyes, aren't chameleons don't have eyelids, do they?
Lizards have lids.
Yeah, they just go side to side.
They have multiple lids, actually.
Yeah, they have like down and side.
I don't know about chameleon folks, but
I
again,
know primarily alligators have two sets of eyelids. One's a closed horizontally. and
there's
alligator.
something happens with the chameleon when it sleeps. I'm sure. I don't physically know the science to it, but I'm saying they have at least enough. Like in this fantasy chameleon folk, he closes his eyes
Yeah,
somehow.
Shutters.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a camera.
So
Obviously.
this appears to be Glenn.
And I do recognize them.
Yes. You do this one by one, with the exception of the final human. The final human, which you guys didn't spend a lot of time with for obvious reasons.
I don't recognize
Rip.
them.
You do recognize him, but not to the extent
gouge
that
out his eyes, but was he?
And you got a sword for him too.
Well, no, that was
The one
ours.
that we didn't even get a name for.
the lanky, the very lean looking
The one
one
that had
that's
scurvy.
like he looks scraggly and very lean, like he's sick.
I'm gonna use detect poison and disease, and I swear to God, if he still has scurvy.
Is that a first level spell?
Scurvy lasts for months, so.
Actually, yes, it is.
Okay, mark it off. You detect.
I get to use it. It's just a one action, and I can use it for 10 minutes.
You detect an ailment on this man, and you know it is scurvy.
I wonder if this
Fireball!
I wonder if
There's
this
no fireball.
I wonder if this man who has scurvy has scurvy.
You are
again.
on a boat in the middle of the water. Remember that.
Well, that doesn't. He's rescued from an island, so
He is alive. He's unconscious, but he's alive.
Change the past. Save the future.
Kill him.
My character just over here.
Do it.
Wherever they're going.
Drake it down.
Like a
What do you wanna do?
Look up Children and see what he knows.
I'm now the evil.
Yeah, I want
Angel on his
to
shoulder.
try and wake everybody up. Is there a way I can just like yell at them very loud, like enough that they're all gonna like jump awake?
Well, you're
You
a
could smack one of us.
You're a dragon,
Not
so
doing
you
that
can
again. I
roar.
almost killed
When
somebody
he
last
did
time I
the
smacked
detect disease and stuff, will detect if any of us have been.
Disease and poison is the
I
spell.
don't have a detect magic.
No, I'm
going
saying,
right
does
now.
it show if we've been affected by any?
He would know if there's
ailment?
anything around him, I believe is what it says.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
to make
it's
us
just
asleep.
around my general
He
vicinity.
doesn't sense any other effects of disease or poison on the rest of the party. Or himself. He does get a ping of up top.
What?
What?
A ping of up top, like possibly the guys that ran up top.
Ooh.
Well, you want to be a murder hobo? Oh.
I'd like to try and wake up everybody in the room.
Alright. How do you want to do that?
I'm going to pretend like they already know who I am.